Yogans. Today we are focusing on the feet and the knees. Our feet are pretty important for very obvious reasons. We spend all of our life, hopefully all of our life, on them. And our knees are also very important because we need to get up and down from the floor. We need to get up and down stairs, etc., etc. So the longer that we can stay mobile in our knees and our feet, the longer that we can keep our feet happy, the longer that we can stay upright and standing and walking and running and jumping and all the things, the longer that we actually live. They've done studies where length of life increases when you can stay on your feet. So we're going to work with our feet and our knees a little. And if you have sore knees, this class is also for you because we'll do a bit of stuff on the floor on our knees to start with, but padded. I've got a towel here with me. And then for most of the rest of the class, we're going to be upright. So we're not going to be on our knees, more so on our feet. And I have a chair with me just for a couple of things that I can show you if you do have sore knees and a couple of the poses or being on the floor is like too much for you. So let's get started. Come and lay down on your back. And then keep your knees nice and bent, feet come to floor, and the feet come just a little wider than hip width so the knees can just fall in on each other and rest. And then let the arms relax down by your sides. Let's take 3 really slow breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And just starting to let go of the day that you've just had, or yesterday. And maybe even letting go of the whole week or the whole month. And letting yourself fully arrive into your practice. And feeling the body resting against the earth, feeling the body pressing down into your mat. This grounding, this physical arrival into the space. And a few slow breaths here as you settle in. The shoulders relax down even though you're on the floor. And then when you're ready, just a little wriggle here. Waking the body slightly. And then start to lift your feet towards the sky. You might notice the backs of your legs are a little tight here in these initial parts of practice. That's okay, the knees can stay bent. I want you to reach your heels towards the sky and the toes towards your face. And then reach, 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 reach. Find that tug through the back of the hamstrings. And that stretch, once again, knees can stay bent, even mine are bent. And then reach your hands up overhead, reaching back through the fingertips. Reach, reach, reach. The arms can come a little wider if the shoulders get a little pinchy with the arms straight overhead. Reach back through fingertips, up through the heels. And then with your next breath out, draw the knees to the chest, heels come to butt cheeks, hands come to shins, curl yourself up and in, in, in. And then breathe in, reach and stretch out again. Breathe out, curl it in, draw it in. One more, reach and stretch. And curl it in. A little activation for the core. This time come back against the floor, feet go up again, heels reach up. And then just start to roll through the ankles. Drawing circles with the toes. Noticing if one foot feels a little more uncoordinated than the other. All right, then go the other way, opposite direction. As we wear shoes all day, every day, our feet tend to go to sleep. They don't really need to, use all their muscles and intricate joints as much as being barefoot. And so we're starting to wake up the feet today. All right, left foot to floor, left knee bends. Hands come behind your right thigh. If you need help with that, you can always grab a strap or something just to wrap around the back and hold on to. And then reach up through the heel and press your right hip down into the floor. So it's like these opposing actions, reaching up, pressing down. And then press your right hamstring, or the back of your right thigh, into your hands at the same time that you're pulling your thigh towards you. Keep breathing. Don't forget to breathe. And then from here, squeeze that right heel towards your butt cheek and then reach it back up. Squeezing calf to thigh and then straightening. Just doing a bit of knee flossing, activating both sides of the legs, getting that knee joint lubricated. And then one more, and then keep it straight. Once again, draw that right thigh in a little more, maybe it's staying back to where you began, that's fine. And then let's do the other side. Right foot comes down, left heel reaches up. Press through left heel, down through left hip. Press left leg into hands. Hands draw left leg in. It doesn't matter how far the leg comes in towards your body. It could be out here and you could be holding it with a strap or a scarf or something. That's totally fine. It's all practice. All right, knee flossing. Squeeze the calf against your fingers or your hand and then straighten. And it's important that this is an active movement. As you straighten, you're really activating through the quadricep to straighten the leg, reaching up through the heel. And then as you're squeezing calf to the hands wrapped behind your left thigh, you're activating the hamstring. Lubricating the knee joint here. Nice. One more time. And then keep it up. Draw that thigh in. Reaching up through heel, down through left hip. And then let it go. You might like to draw both knees in, squeeze them in, out towards the sides of the ribs, a little upside down child's pose. Maybe a little rock side to side. And then from here, we're going to come up to sit. I invite you to rock and roll along your spine to get there. Otherwise, if that's a no-go for you, you can just roll to your side and make your way up. So if you're coming with me in those rocks, grabbing the thighs or behind the thighs with your hands, rocking forwards and backwards along your spine. A little massage here for that back. And then coming on up. Alrighty, bring the feet in a little closer. Can be comfortable to just have, one foot resting in front and the other one a little further out, because from here what we're going to do is give ourselves a foot massage. So if you hate touching feet, sorry about it, maybe you shouldn't have done a foot yoga class. But what we're going to do is with our thumbs, we're just going to press our thumbs into that inner edge of the feet, and the fingers sort of wrap around the other edge. So you can see I've got my thumb on the inside, my fingers wrapping around the top of the foot. And you're just pressing into sort of the inner arch of the feet, pressing and moving along the arch. And then you can start to get down a little further towards the sole of the foot. And towards the other edge or the outer edge, moving that thumb down a little further. And you can go a little rogue here, you can massage wherever feels good. You might even like to go along the bottom edge of the balls or the ball of the foot and the heel. You might even like to go further around the sides of the foot instead of just on the sole. And then from here, we're going to stretch our big toes. So if you can, bring your left thigh in a little closer, and then that will bring our right foot on top. If you can't get your right foot up here like this on top of your left thigh, that's fine. Just leave it down on the ground. I'm just doing this for a little extra leverage. But basically, you're just going to grab one of your hands. I've got my right hand around my right big toe, and you're just going to pull the big toe back and then pull it down. So we're just flexing that big toe backwards and forwards as much as you can, as much as feels possible. So just like we were, bending and straightening the knee before, now we're kind of bending and straightening the big toe, getting those muscles working and stretching. And then we're going to do the other side. So swap sides, bring that left foot up or forwards, left hand around left big toe. Stretch time for that big toe. Whoever thought that coming to a yoga class would mean massaging your feet and stretching your big toe. Welcome to Sarah Hayes Yoga. Okay. From here, we're going to come onto our hands and our knees. And for this, if the knees are quite sensitive, being down on the floor, this is where your rug, like folded rug or towel or even a pillow can come in handy. Bring that under the knees. And so the knees are under hips, hands are under shoulders. You can do whatever you want with your feet. They can be, tucked toes or untucked. And then start to round up through the spine, letting the head hang, chin tucks, tailbone curls around towards your nose. And then you'll arch through the spine, tailbone flicks up towards the sky, belly button draws towards earth, chest shines forward, gazing just beyond your mat. And then round up. Shoulder blades spread apart, pressing down through the hands, arching forwards. Nice. And keep doing this a few times with your breath. Rounding through the spine, arching through the spine. And if being on your hands and knees is just like really a no-go for you, what you can do is actually come up and bring yourself to a chair or the side of a table or anything with a bit of height, and just do it lifted. So feet are on the floor, hands are on the chair, they can even be higher up on the top. And then you're just rounding and arching. Simple. So we'll just do a few more here. Waking up your breath, opening through the front of the body and the back of the body. Wherever you are, standing or on hands and knees. And then from here, come back to a neutral spine, and we're going to tuck the toes under and then make our journey back to sitting the hips, back to the heels, and maybe sitting up. So maybe this is enough pressure on the toes. It can be quite an intense toe stretch. So see how you go. Maybe you can start to lift through the hands and sit back onto the heels. Just notice where your sort of boundaries lie, where your limit lies. And here we're stretching the sole of the foot, as well as the back of the ankle, the toes, the front of our knees. So there's a lot going on here. So if this is really intense, remember you can shift the weight forwards back to the hands, or you could even lift up a little bit, more of a lifted kneeling shape. Wherever you are, reach the hands back behind you, interlace fingers if you can, reach back through knuckles, spread through the front of the chest, squeeze shoulder blades together, shoulders down, and breathe. Never forget to breathe. And then we're going to release those hands, lift up through the hips, and now untuck the toes. And same thing, sit back on the heels. Same thing, do this, a little more lifted, a little less pressure on the feet if that's what you need. And if being on the ground like this with your knees is too much, you can come to stand, and I'll show you in a sec what you can do instead. So if you are here, sitting back, from this place, we're just going to reach right arm across, hook it into the crook of your left elbow, draw that right arm in, stretching through that right side. If you are needing to stand, you're going to come with a wall close by and just place your toes up against the wall, heel to the floor, and then just bending and straightening through the knee. And that'll give you a nice stretch through the back of the ankle and the back of the calf as well. And then to go the other way, you'll just tuck those toes under and then do your stretch standing like this. And you can sort of, bring more pressure down onto the foot, lessen the pressure, roll around on those toes. The toes are tucked under, stretching through the front of the foot and the ankle. Those down on the floor, let's swap sides. Left arm across into the right crook of the elbow, draw that left arm in. Here in this stretch, we're really getting into the front or the top of the foot and the front of the ankle, and still stretching through the front of the knees. Still breathing. And then from here, we're going to come back up. One more stretch for the feet while we're down here. So come back to your hands and knees. And then all you're going to do is bring your right foot to step forwards. And then just have your left shin to sort of cut across behind you, because you're just going to sit back onto your bottom. That right foot stays in front. And if being all bunched up like this with the foot, close to the hip flexors and this foot in front and the knees quite bent, then you can stay lifted still with your toes up against the wall, heel on the floor, bending, straightening through the knee. Because in this one, we're really stretching through the back of the ankle here. Now, what I want you to do is bring your hands to your knee, or you can leave them on the floor, whatever feels good. And what we're going to do is shift the weight forwards into that foot and bring the knee over the ankle, keeping the heel, keeping the whole foot grounded. It might feel more sort of accessible to sit up on that left heel as your right foot is forwards. So you can get a little more leverage into that right side. So we're just shifting the weight forwards and back. Whole foot stays grounded. The knee starts to track further over the toes. Maybe it doesn't get so far, that's fine. It just, depends on how mobile your feet are already. And if doing foot yoga isn't a common thing for you, then potentially your ankles and feet are feeling pretty tight. So thanks for being here. Your feet are going to love you for it. All right, let's swap sides. Just come over onto your hands and knees. Bring that right shin across, that left foot forwards, and then sitting back onto the heel or bum onto floor, whatever's accessible for you. And then we shift forwards and backwards, stretching. This is also stretching up through the back of, the left calf. Stretching through the front of the knee. It's a bit of a hip stretch too. If you're standing with your foot against the wall, you can swap sides, of course. Okay, now we're going to make our journey to the back of the mat standing. So coming up, get there however you can. And from here, bring the feet roughly hip width distance apart. And then if you can, close down the eyes. And then just rock a little side to side, just starting to play with your balance. Keeping the whole foot grounded on both sides. Side to side, waking up those muscles and ligaments and tendons and bones and joints, everything going on down there. And then we'll go front to back, shifting weight into heels and then toes and balls of feet, keeping the whole foot grounded as much as you can. You might notice as you shift back, the toes start to peel off. And then we'll come back to center. Look down at your feet, eyes open. And then with your right foot, peel all 5 toes off the floor. And now one at a time, little toe to big toe, place each toe back down, articulating the movement between each toe. Big toe comes down, and then we lift again. Little toe, second, third, fourth, big toe, and again. You're probably noticing it's very uncoordinated. The less that we need to use our feet with shoes on, go to the other side, start doing the right foot now. The less that we use our feet, and the feet need to use their muscles, etc., they start to go to sleep. We kind of lose that connection between body and brain. So a couple more times, little toe to big toe on that right foot. And then when we lose that connection, we're essentially losing that strength and that balance. So we're starting to wake up the feet again, as weird as it may seem. Okay, lift all 10 toes. One at a time, little toe to big toe. And then grip the floor underneath you. It's like you're gripping with your hands, but you're gripping with your toes, and you feel the underside of the feet switching on, maybe, hopefully. And then relax. Stay nice and grounded. Grounded through the left foot. Lift the right knee into standing staff pose. You can do whatever you need to with your arms. And then we're going to step slightly forwards. Right heel comes down. And then the outer edge of the right foot, little toe, second, third, fourth, big toe. Grip the floor. Standing staff pose on the other side. Left knee lifts. Step forwards, heel down, outer edge, little toe, second, third, fourth, big toe. One more time on both sides. Right knee lifting. You might need to take a shorter step. And then right heel down, outer edge, little, second, third, fourth, big toe. Final step, left knee lifts. Heel down. And then eventually each toe, one at a time, big toe down. Nice. Well done. All right, have a little shakeout. Coming to the top of your mat, feet once again hip width, and we'll just do a couple of heel lifts, lifting up through the heels and lowering. See how high you can get while staying balanced. So it might be, a centimeter off the floor, that's fine. It might be all the way up off the floor. If you have a wall nearby, or if you need your chair, use it as much as you need to. That's fine. There's no cheating with using balancing aids if you really need it. Sometimes it's good to challenge ourselves, but if you're just starting out, then by all means, use that chair. All right, top of the mat. Shake out those legs. Let's move a little more. Feet hip width distance, standing nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. Unclench that jaw, unfurrow that brow. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Next time you breathe in, sweep the arms wide and high. As you breathe out, fold forwards from the hips, a little bend in the knees. Breathe in to come up to halfway, a little tabletop spine, hands can rest to the legs. Breathe out to fold. Your hands will come down, and then just step yourself back into a plank with the knees down. Once again, you can have that towel handy for the knees to come onto. Press down through the hands, spread shoulder blades. Pubic bone draws towards your belly button. Keep breathing. And then slowly just roll down onto your belly. All the way down. Once you're down here, forehead to floor, toes untuck. And the hands stay down by the sides of your chest, elbows bent, squeezing in and back. Press down through the tops of your feet so that your kneecaps actually lift off the floor. Or it's this action of lifting off the floor. The legs are active. Tailbone draws back towards the heels, the pubic bones pressing down into the floor. Let's slowly inhale, peel forehead, chest, squeeze elbows back, and then you'll exhale, slowly lower down. Let's do that 2 more times. Really light in the hands if you can. Breathing in, lifting up, pubic bone pressing down, tops of feet pressing down. Exhale to lower. 1 more time at your own pace. And then you'll slowly press yourself up and back into a child's pose. Knees come wide, toes untucked. Hips come back towards heels. Arms just relax. If having your hips all the way back is too much, you can be a little more lifted. You could have a pillow or something between your hips and your heels. You could have a towel or a rug under the knees, whatever you need to do. And then from here, we come up to hands and knees. Tuck those toes under, lift the hips up, and come to stand to the top of the mat. And we're just coming back to that forward fold. Make your way there however you need to. Rise on up. And then fold back down. A halfway lift. Forward fold. Come back to that plank. You can either have the knees down or stay lifted through the knees this time, whatever works for you. If you're up here in a lifted plank, you might like to shift backwards and forwards, a little stretch for the calves and the ankles. And then knees down, lower down. Nice. Same thing, hands by sides. Tops of toes, press down, pubic bone presses. Peel and lift when you're ready. Inhaling, hover through the hands, maybe. Exhaling to come back down. 2 more times. Breathing in, lifting up. Move at your own pace. Hover the hands above the earth and they come back down. On this last one, as you peel and lift up, hover the hands, straighten through the elbows, fingertips reach back, palms face up. And then you bend again, hover, 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 hands back to floor, lower down. Nice. All right, child's pose, press up and back, hips back. Take a breath. Let it settle. Forehead relaxes down. And then slowly make your way back to the top. Tippy-toeing, stepping, walking, whatever you need to do. And we rise on up. Bring the palms together, thumbs down through the center, and arms down by your side. Nice. We're going to bring a little more balance in this time because now our feet are nice and warm and our ankles are nice and awake. Right foot stays grounded. Standing staff pose, left knee lifts. Maybe the arms rise too. Keep breathing. You're going to slowly hover and step that left foot all the way back to warrior one. Slowly, slowly, slowly. The back heel comes down at a 45-degree angle. Arms or hands can come to hips as you set yourself up. Because warrior one, we actually keep the hips pointing forwards. So you might need to widen your stance. You might need to shorten your stance. Whatever you need to do to get those hips to stay relatively, towards the front. And so from here, back heel down, 45-degree angle. Front knee's bent. And it doesn't matter how bent, but see how you go with that. Maybe bending and straightening a little feels quite good and helps you to explore that range. Back leg is straight and strong all the way up to that left butt cheek. And you're super grounded through the back foot all the way into the outer edge or the back edge of that foot as well. As you're sort of bending and straightening through the knee, maybe starting to draw a circle with that knee around the foot. Keeping the whole foot grounded. Tailbone's drawing down, so you're getting a bit of a stretch through the front of the left hip. And then let's come to pause. Long through spine. All 5 toes grounded at the front and at the back. Gripping the mat just a little. Arms reach up. And then let's reach that right hand down and back. Reach up and over with the left. A bit of a reverse warrior here. And then hands come back to front. To the top. And then slowly we're going to step and hover that left foot back to the front of the mat. Arms can come down. Nice. Shake it out. Now the other side, left foot grounds. Standing staff pose, right knee lifting, arms lifting if you can. Hover, step back. Hover, 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 hover. Toe tap as you need. Warrior one. Set up those hips, left knee bent, back leg straight. The outer blade of the back foot, super grounded, all 10 toes, super grounded. Maybe bending and straightening through that front knee, getting that lubrication happening. Tailbone drawing down, pubic bone drawing up a little. Start drawing circles around the ankle now with the knee. And then come to stillness. Hands reach up. Left hand down, reach over with the right hand. And then as that left hand sweeps back to center, you slowly step right foot back to the front. Hands come down. Shake it out. Okay, we'll add a little bit in here. Right foot stays grounded, standing staff pose, left knee lifting. Grounded all the way down into the right heel. Sweep and step back. Warrior one again. Arms sweep up as you arrive. Position yourself. Knees staying stacked kind of over the right ankle if you can. Draw that right outer hip in a little so the knee tracks over the toes, or in line with the toes rather. And then warrior two. We open the arms to the side. The hips open towards the top left corner of the mat. You might need to shimmy yourself and readjust your foot positioning. Back leg stays straight, front knee stays bent. And the inner arch of the back foot somewhat lines up with that front heel. Arms straight and strong, reaching through the fingertips, head stacked over pelvis. And then reach through right fingertips. Left hand down. And then right forearm to right thigh, reach up and over, nice long line all the way from back foot and heel up through left hand. Stretching through that left side. Hug that right outer hip in towards the midline, right outer knee out a little. And breathe. Nice. From here, what we're going to do is bring the hands to frame the front foot, and then we're going to hover that back leg again. But this time in a forward fold. So grab your chair if you need it. Hands come down, frame the front foot, lift the back heel, and then step it forwards, hover, standing L shape. So back heel reaches back behind you, that left butt cheek's really working here to hold the leg up, left toes pointing down, a little bent in the right knee if you need. You can have hands to a chair if that's too much for you. And then left foot comes down, forward fold, both feet down. Rise all the way up. And then palms together, hands down through the center. Down by your sides. Left foot stays down, right knee lifts, standing staff pose. We do it on the other side. Hover and step back. Warrior one first. Watch when the wobbles come in, that's okay. Arms sweep. Warrior one. And then open, warrior two. Take a moment to check in, settle in, ground in. Left outer knee hugging outwards, left outer hip hugging inwards. Left thigh in line with the toes, all 10 toes super grounded. Reverse, left hand up and over, right hand down, gazing down or up. And then side angle pose. Right hand over and reaching. Take a few breaths here. Light through the left forearm, not dumping and hanging down into it. Still active through the torso, staying slightly lifted. And then super strong in the legs. Pressing down through front heel, gripping a little through the front toes. Grounded through the back outer arch. And then when you're ready, frame the front foot, standing L shape. Might have to move away from the wall here. Right leg hovers. You can have hands to chair, whatever you need. Reaching back through right heel, right toes reach down. Right butt cheek really strong here. Belly drawing towards spine, so you're using that core. And then right foot down. forward fold. Nice, have a moment here. A little wriggle, a little sway, a little shake, whatever you need. And then we're going to slowly round up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Even slower. Back to the top. Give the shoulders a roll one way, and then the other. Shimmy the hips a little. Let any tension that's accumulating for no reason just kind of dissipate. And then giving the feet a shake out. We're going to do one final balancing pose, one final test for the strength and the mobility of our feet and our ankles. And we've already done it essentially in our flow. And now we're just going to do it with no hands. Look, Mum, no hands. Use your chair if you need for balance. Use a wall if you need. The challenge is really holding your balance. So if you find doing it without a chair achievable, then please do. So keep your right foot grounded. And then just like we came into that standing L shape, we're going to do that, but without the hands on the floor. So you'll start to slowly sweep the arms back behind you as you hinge from that right hip. Left leg starts to lift back. Reach back through the fingertips like an aeroplane. Reach back through that left heel, down through the left toes. And breathe. Hover, toe tap as you need. A little bent through that right knee as you need. Nice. And then slowly left foot comes back down. Good work. Shake that right foot out. Your feet are probably getting sore now because they're actually being used in a way that they're not used to, maybe. All right, left foot stays grounded. Start to hinge, reach back through the arms. You might even like to have hands to hips, whatever works. If you do have hands to hips, see if you can keep that right hip in line with the left, so you're not opening towards the right side. You're actually keeping the hips both pointing down, but that right heel is still pointing back, right toes pointing down, breathing, and then we come back. Nice. One more time, both sides. If you want to challenge yourself even more, you can bring in a little extra with the arms. So right foot stays down, left foot reaches back to hover, and then left foot reaches back, did I say? Maybe the arms start to reach forwards. So it becomes quite a lot more strength required, especially in the back body. So breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. 2 more breaths. And then slowly come out. And then you have one more side to do. Left foot down, reaching back through right foot. Maybe arms reach back, maybe hands to hips, and maybe the arms reach forwards. Trying to keep length in the spine the whole time, reaching back through the right heel as you reach forwards through the fingertips, forwards through the crown. 2 more breaths. You got this. I know it. Even though I can't see it, I know it's happening. Let the wobbles come, let the wobbles go. Use the chair, use the wall. And then slowly come out. Shake out those feet. Nice. All right, from here we're going to come into a squat and start to stretch out those glutes. If squatting is completely no-go for you, all the more reason to squat, really. But to get there, you can use a chair. So I'm going to have my trusty chair nearby. We're going to come first of all into a general squat. So you literally just squat down nothing fancy going on. Knees are bent, heels are probably up off the floor. And then I like to kind of just shimmy around, sway side to side, opening one knee to the side and then the other. Just kind of enjoying the stretch for the feet and the toes and the ankles and the knees and the glutes. And then if this is enough for you, stay here, that's fine. If you actually need a chair, if this is too much for you, you can be up on a chair. Knees wide, and then sort of leaning forward slightly. You can press your hands into your knees and kind of open one knee and then the other. You can lean forwards a little more to find a bit more stretch through the inner thighs. Just do what feels good for you up on the chair. Okay, for those that find squatting kind of easy-ish or accessible, or you want to try the next stage, which is yogi squat or malasana, we're going to come up, bring your feet sort of a little wider than hip width distance apart. Toes are out, feet are on an angle. And then you just slowly start to sit down into your squat. So you're using your muscles, you're not just sort of flopping down into this squat. Adjust your feet as you need to. Wherever you get to, I want you to bring your forearms or your elbows to rest on top of your knees. Press down through the arms, reach forwards through the chest. So now you're lengthened through the spine, you're broadened through the front of the body, so you're not hunched and rounded over, hopefully. Press down through the feet, so the glutes switch on. It's like you're trying to stand up, but you're not. I just want you to keep all the parts of you actually active, and you're not just kind of sinking down into it, because that's not what we want to do. Hips won't like that. Press down through feet, glutes on, and then using your outer glutes, you're going to squeeze the knees outwards. So you're squeezing these outwards using those butt cheeks, pressing down through the feet, arms pressed down on top of the knees, lift, breathe. And then whenever you're ready, you can come out of it hands down, come into a bit of a forward fold, a little sway. Nice. And then if you want to do that again, feel free to come down into your second malasana squat for today. Remembering all those actions. And so as you come down, remembering arms pressing down into tops of knees, opening through front of body, active through back of body. Press down through the feet, slight lift so you feel those muscles switch on. Squeeze knees out without using the arms to press them out. And breathe. And whenever you're ready, you can come out of it. There's no stress here. It can be quite a lot. If you want to stay a little longer in your squat, please feel free to. Otherwise, come up into a forward fold. Let the backs of the legs have a nice stretch. And then eventually coming down onto the floor, getting rid of the chair if that's what you had. And then just a little more for those hamstrings. Right leg out in front, left foot to inner right thigh. Lengthen through spine, and then fold over right leg. Now you might need to bend through the right knee to get that fold. Whatever you need to do to get that stretch through back of right leg. And then from here, if you want to come along with me, we're going to bring a little twist into it. So left hand reaches across to outer right foot, or outer edge of right foot, and then right hand reaches back behind you. So you're coming down into this forward fold over the right thigh, but a little rotated. Might bring a stretch through the left side of the body, maybe. For me, it definitely does. A nice twist in the spine, remembering to keep that right knee bent if you need to. Yeah. Pressing right heel, right hip bone down into floor. So there's still a little action going on here. And then come on up. We'll swap sides. Left leg out, right foot in. Lengthen spine, fold over left. Maybe bring the twist in, right hand to outer left edge of foot. Left hand around and back behind you. Left knee can be bent. Wherever you are, pressing left heel, left hip down into the floor. And as we do these stretches and poses with active muscles, we are lengthening the muscle in a safe range. And we're strengthening the muscle at the same time. So, depending on what kind of yoga you're doing, it can be a much better option for the muscles. Okay, coming on up. From here, we're going to come down onto our back. You're probably cheering about that. Yes, we're almost at Shavasana. Come on down. Bring your right ankle onto your left thigh above the knee. Draw left thigh in. Wrap those hands around that thigh. Maybe this is as far as you go. Maybe you press your right elbow into the right knee as you draw that left thigh in a little further. A little action in the right ankle. So the right toes are reaching back towards your right knee. If this is way too much, you can just keep your left foot on the floor too. Sometimes that's enough of a stretch for some people. You might like to rock side to side here. Whatever feels good. And then what we're going to do is keep the right ankle attached, bring the left foot down, release the hands. And then keeping everything as it is, just let it all fall over to the left. Right foot comes to floor, outer edge of left leg comes down, and we come into a twist. And then drawing right knee either towards the floor a little or away from you, one way or the other. Drawing in or back the other way. Just find a spot that feels really good for that right hip, that right glute. And then we're going to come back to center, unravel everything, right foot down, left ankle to right thigh. And then take your version of this stretch, maybe left elbow pressing into left knee. That left ankle is active. A little rock, if you like. And then the right foot comes back to the floor. Keep everything where it is. And let it all fall over to the right side. Do what feels good with the left knee. Whether you draw it down towards the floor or away from you, it sort of changes the stretch or the position of the stretch. So just experiment. You might find that sweet spot and stay, or you might just be transitioning between the two, forwards and backwards. And then slowly unraveling. Take any final stretch that you need. And we're going to end in Shavasana. So legs come out long, wide, arms out wide by your sides, palms facing up. And if your low back feels a little pinchy in this position, it's okay. You can bend the knees, feet to floor, feet a little further towards the edges of the mat, and let the knees fall in towards each other. Whatever feels good for you. And as you're here, starting to settle in, starting to soften the knees, the feet, the ankles, the hips, the shoulders. Shoulders come down away from the ears, the jaw unclenches, brow unfurrows. And the eyes may be closed, or you just steadily gaze towards the ceiling. And then bringing your awareness down to the tips of your toes, relaxing the tips of the toes all the way to the base of the toes, relaxing the balls of the feet, the soles of the feet, the heels, the ankles, all the way up through the calves into the knees, all the way up through the thighs into the hips. Continuing this softening and this relaxing up through the belly, allowing each breath in to expand the belly. And relaxing through the chest, the rib cage, the shoulders, down through the elbows, the wrists, the fingers, all the way to the tips of the fingers. And then all the way up through the neck, through the face, the cheeks, the ears, the eyebrows, into the crown of the head. Slow breaths, easy breaths. Letting the practice fall away, letting the muscles melt and the bones rest. And then after your next few breaths, take your time. And you'll eventually start to wriggle the toe tips and the fingertips, maybe even the nose tip, wrinkling the nose. I'm not sure if you can hear through my microphone, but it started pouring with rain here. Perfect timing. And whenever you're ready, you'll just roll to one side. Pause on your side, take a breath. Go slowly between that transition of being on the floor and more upright. And you're totally welcome to stay down on the floor if you're transitioning into bedtime or any other relaxation time where you want to stay really grounded and rested. Otherwise, making your way back up to seat. A gentle bow of the head. A moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country that we rest on and practice on and play on today. And acknowledging the TLC that you've just given to your feet and your ankles, your toes, your knees. And when hands come together, rub those hands, create a little heat. And then release the hands, bring them to the thighs, give the thighs a little self-massage and squeeze down through the knees, the calves to the ankles, and down to the feet, giving those feet a nice massage again. And grounding yourself back down. And whenever you're ready, you can bring your gaze back around the room. back out into this space around you, and you can take your time and go slowly into the rest of your day. Thanks for practicing with me here.